Good morning everyone, my name is Soo Kok Xian and let me introduce to you our group member, Jian Pei and Yike. Today our topic of discussion will be focusing on effective meeting. What are the criteria of an effective meeting and how to conduct one? I'll first do a brief introduction on the topic, following by some of the mistakes done in an ineffective meeting. And then Yike will help us to show some of the ways to improve the effectiveness of a meeting. And then Jian Pei will help us to wrap up the topic and shows us some proper ways to conduct an effective meeting. First, why is an effective meeting so important? According to the United States National Statistics Council, 37% of the employee time was spent in meetings, and up to 50% of the scheduled time was unproductive, and 25% was spent discussing on some irrelevant issues. And that's equivalent to 1.7 months wasted per year per employee. That's a huge loss to a company. A well-planned meeting should be cost efficiency and beneficial to the company. And the less time spent in meeting, the more productivity and the more revenue generating an employee can be. Next, let me show you a short video on an ineffective meeting. Sorry.
Please mute it.
Sorry for that. That should solve the problem.
I was just thinking about that earlier. Yeah, just sitting here waiting and I was like,
Yeah, I don't even know what time it is.
Oh guys, I'm sorry I'm late. Thank you. The traffic. Can you believe it? How ironic. You know, that's what we're here to talk about, and I got caught in it.
Oh my gosh. So sorry. I didn't even know you were freaking
And you're always late. So what are we going to do to fix the traffic? Guys, what do you need my solution?
I think the solution is definitely public transportation. You know, we need
Are you gonna
to.
go on about public transit? If we're gonna talk about that, I should just leave. There's no.
I'm not so rude. I'm just saying, I think that we need to put more money into public transportation.
Why are you gonna put more money into a system that's not even broken? You know, R&D is about research and development.
I'm not
Using new
saying-
technologies like scooters or
We can use new technology in public transportation. That's what we need to do.
money into a system that doesn't
It's
work.
not
It's proven that
our
it doesn't
fault that
work.
it's not working. It's not working
It's
because
man.
you're not funding
More man.
funded
Why would we get
properly.
more money and the money already lost?
Fine, everyone, this isn't productive when you fight it.
I'll be in my office if you want to talk about this.
Wait, oh, so he just gets to go? This is a solution.
The video shows a group of 6 having a brainstorming meeting on how to tackle the traffic problem. Next, I will discuss with you some of the mistakes done by the characters in the video which made it ineffective. First, let us discuss about the lady who sat in the middle. Let us address her as the leader. First, she was late for a meeting. She was supposed to be the one who set the meeting time and should be punctual. And what even worse was she used the excuse of being caught in traffic, and that wasn't very convincing. Next, she didn't address the start of the meeting at all. She just walked in, sat down, and started her own speech while the other person was still busy with their own stuff, and there was still one lady who was missing. Next, there was no detailed agenda prepared by the leader at all, which state like what should have been discussed in the meeting and what should have been achieved by the end of the meeting. Instead, just an issue of traffic was mentioned. Next, no one was appointed by the leader to record the meeting. And towards the end of the video, she clearly showed that she didn't possess the ability to handle the chaotic situation when the situation turned out to be uncontrollable. Instead, she just gave up. Next, I will discuss with you the lady who was late. Let us address her as Staff A. She was late for a meeting and no sincere apology was made. Instead, she showed an unknown meaning of gesture like this. And the reason for her for being late for a meeting was she forgot about the meeting, which showed that she had a poor schedule management. Next, towards the kiosk, she was panicked and impatient. She tried to stop them by shouting at them, but actually it made the situation worse. And next, I would like to discuss about the staff B who talked over the phone throughout the meeting. Clearly that he was not prepared for the meeting while the papers were still lying in front of him. And lastly, I would like to discuss about the staff C and D. The tension between them reached maximum when they started to arguing about how to solve the traffic problem. And while the lady mentioned about improving the public transportation, the gentleman he didn't accept it. Instead, he didn't prepare for the meeting at all, that he didn't have any solution or idea on how to solve the problem. And he even threatened to leave the meeting, while all this time the leader, she didn't do anything about it. I have shown you some of the mistakes done by the characters in the video, and next I will pass the time to Yike to show you what are the ways to improve the effectiveness.
Thanks, Kok Xian. Good morning, everyone. My name is Yike, and after we analyze those general mistakes done by people, now we're going to discuss how to improve the efficiency. Firstly, what should the manager or the host do to improve the efficiency? A manager should realize his importance in a meeting, and thus he should be the first one there waiting for other group members. People's behavior highly depends on the presence of their boss. According to a technical report named Methods to Instrument Meetings from Stanford University, people usually feel stressed with the presence of their leader, and they will restrict their actions. So for the boss, be the first one there would make the whole environment more suitable for meeting to start. Secondly, start the meeting when everyone is around the table. Once every group member is there, cut the irrelative talkings and start the meeting. A gesture or an announcement could be, a gesture or an announcement such as, okay, everyone, we start the meeting, could be used to send a signal to the group members telling them the meeting starts. The manager should send a signal to his group members telling them to make the people aware the meeting is actually begins. And the time cost to start a meeting would be 80% less by setting an obvious signal according to the technical report mentioned above. Thirdly and lastly, for the manager, hold the principles throughout the meeting will also be very important. There will be one or more topics covered during the meeting. However, the discussion may go to some strange and irrelative points by some unexpected sparks. For example, a group member picks up a phone during the meeting, and then the whole group starts to talk about iPhone 6. In such situation, the manager should be strong enough to hold the principle and to pull the meeting back to its design track. It may be hard to do, but it is very important because it secures the efficiency of a meeting. On the other hand, for staffs, they also have some factors to be noted. The first point, as we also highlighted to managers, is try your best to be punctual. A lot of people complain that attending a meeting is a waste of time. Well, the best way to save time is to start the meeting on time. And try your best to be punctual, because it will be more difficult for a meeting to start. This is because the more time they wait, the more time they emerge into irrelative talkings, and it will be harder for a meeting to start. Another big point for staffs to be noted is ethics. Everybody should have ethics attending the meeting. Behaviors such as switch your phone to silent mode, focus on the points listed on agenda, be active during the meeting are some of the most effective ways to reduce the meeting time. Everybody wants to have an effective meeting, and thus everyone should have some ethics to restrict their actions to make the efficiency higher. So after we analyze those how to improve the efficiency, you may still wonder how to conduct a meeting from the very beginning to the end. And now I will pass my part to Jian Pei, and he will talk about how to conduct a proper and effective meetings. Thanks.
Hi, good morning everyone. Thanks Yike for suggesting what should be done by the individuals in our case study. I am Jian Pei, and I will share some proper ways to conduct a business meeting. Every business has meeting as a regular part of getting things done, whether it has 2 employees or 2,000. Even though the employees can communicate with one another in many different ways, but business meeting can be incredibly effective and efficient if they are conducted the right way. So, what are the proper ways to conduct a business meeting? My group has come up with 7 ways which can make the meetings better. First of all, be prepared. All the participants should be well prepared before the meeting. But how can they prepare? Does anyone have any idea? Gentleman over there?
Have an agenda.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. This leads to our second point, have an agenda. An agenda is a critical role in making the success of any meeting. In the agenda, you should state the main end result of your meeting, such as coming up with some new idea, or even discussing an important issue. Not only that, you should limit the amount of points in your agenda. You should cover the most important things during the meeting. Besides that, be sure to distribute the agenda in advance, because by distributing the agenda in advance, the employees can prepare ahead of time. As a result, they will immediately engage in the business of meeting. Next on, start on time and end on time. Time is important, and meetings shouldn't run too long. 30 minutes or shorter is a good length. Keeping the meeting short will ensure that you are more efficient and use your time wisely. And the employees will be more focused when they know the meeting is going to be short. When your time limit has run out, end the meeting. You can cover other points in the next meeting. Following by, have fewer but better meetings. Call a meeting when it is absolutely necessary. Ask yourself whether you can achieve your goal in some other ways, such as through a one-on-one discussion or even a simple exchange of email. As you reduce the number of meetings you have, be sure to improve the quality. The 5th point is maintain the focus. Meeting leaders and participants must actively work together to keep the meeting focused on the agenda items. Whenever you see the meeting drifting off track, speak up and push the other attendees to get back in focus. Next on, record keeping. This is very important. Do not assume that all the participants are going to take their assignments to heart or remember all the details. Instead, be sure that someone has agreed to take on the job of record keeping. Immediately after the meeting, summarize the outcome of the meeting as well as the assignments and the timelines, and email a copy of the summary to the attendees. Lastly, get feedback. Every meeting has room for improvement. Be sure to solicit the feedback from the attendees, whether using forms or informally speak with them. Was the meeting too long? Were the items on the agenda unclear? Whatever the problems are, you can't fix them if you do not know about them. In conclusion, an effective meeting is important because it increases the productivity and achieves its goal in a short time. Thank you very much. Now we will open the floor for Q&A. Yes.
The question is for Jian Pei.
Yes.
So just now you mentioned that you have to keep the meetings optimum length for 30 minutes and have fewer meetings. So while having lesser and shorter meetings, how do you keep the efficiency? How do you maintain outcomes of your meetings? Any ways to increase the efficiency?
Yeah, this is listed in the second point. Have an agenda. An agenda is very important because it listed out all the goals you are trying to achieve during the meeting. So actually, as a leader, you should make sure that the meeting shouldn't cover too many things. I mean, you can distribute the job to the employees, and then in the meeting, they are just going to like report the status, or if there's something that they cannot solve at their own, they can bring up during a meeting and you guys can discuss during the meeting. Actually, there are different category of business meeting, and this is 30 minutes is very general. It's very general, and it depends on what kind of meeting you have. But an effective meeting, according to our research, it says that 30 minutes or shorter is a good length. Otherwise, the participant will out of focus. Yeah. Thank you.
What about the time of the day where you set the meeting? Would it be more productive if you set it towards the end of the day, where people are waiting to knock off, but then you call for a meeting? Then maybe they'll be more efficient and more productive in the meeting. If you do it during lunch hour, probably they will like, just take their own time, the day will just pass, kind of thing.
I hardly think so, because at the end of the day, just like at the end of the lecture, you won't be as focused as you are as the beginning of the lecture. People tend to be out of focus because they are going to like plan their TGIF, etc. Yeah. That's why it is better to have the meeting in the morning, because they will have to get the things done before the day before or at the home. That's why they can present their idea during the meeting. Yes, thank you.
To add on that, most of the business they don't tend to make some important decisions by end of the day or like end of the week, because there will be too rush for them, and it will turn out the decision may be not the most accurate one.
Gentleman over there.
If you are the subordinate and your boss is the one that keep dragging the meeting and saying a lot of irrelevant stuff, which what happened during my internship. My boss like to talk about this and that, and everyone just sit there and listen for 2 hours and nothing's done. So if you are one of the subordinate, what can you do?
Well, if I were you, I would doing my own things. Yeah, because you know your boss is trash talking, right? Because nothing important, then you can do your own things. And if your boss start to talk about something important, then you get back. Yeah. It's my own opinion.
Okay, I'll add on that. Okay. Depends your boss is what boss. Yeah. If your boss is only a manager, there's some way. If your boss is the big boss, okay, then different story. Okay. If your boss is a manager, then probably you can give feedback through email or through the boss. Yeah. I mean, there are many ways if the organization structure is very clear. But if your boss is the big boss, there's no way, there's no effective way for you to do it, because he's the big boss. Yeah.
Let me guess, it's the big boss in your case, right?
Senior manager.
Senior manager.
Quite big.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, question for all of you. Just as a leader, right, chairing the meeting, right, what happens? What should you do if say all the subordinates can't come to an agreement on whatever is being discussed? So yeah, any steps to take in such a case?
Sorry, so what do you mean?
So, I mean, if you are the leader chairing the meeting,
Okay.
right, and everyone can't come to agreement on the topic being discussed,
Okay.
is there like any sort of recommendation how to go about it? Like,
So your question is try to make an agreement, right? Or everybody goes to a common agreement, or what?
yeah, because earlier you mentioned that you try to keep the meeting short.
Yeah.
So if you can't come to agreement within like the agreed time, then what happens then?
Oh, okay. So in this case, I think it would be better to to distribute the agenda before the meeting, and then everybody could have some time to think, to come out with their own ideas, and then during the meeting you can discuss the ideas and